Seems like you and your dad just kicked the hornet's nest without getting rid of all the bugs.
Ah, Cecil, for the love of God, please shut the fuck up. This motherfucker right here has the nerve to talk about how Mark and Nolan only kicked the hornet's nest? Sir, I went out there and punched the leader of that hornet's nest as hard as I possibly could. But when I landed that punch, I saw the most chilling sequence of impact frames of my life. So fuck you. You wouldn't have fared any better, bitch. With episode 8 in the book, season 4 has come to an end. And oh boy, what a season it was. I have a lot of thoughts that I've been waiting to say for the end of this season, but for some reason now my dumbass is realizing that there are thousands of others who have already echoed these same sentiments. But fuck it, my brain can sometimes operate on a different spectrum, so maybe I just might say something new. Just a fair heads up though, this video is gonna be all over the place. So while my thoughts are still fresh right after watching that season finale episode, I'ma get to yapping. So to start off, I wanna go over Oliver and Eve real quick before I really get into the shits. As a rebellious little shit who can't listen for shit, Oliver was far more bearable in the show than he was in the comics. In the comics, it gave me great pleasure in seeing Thrag do what he did to Oliver. In the show, however, I do like him a bit more. To be fair, it's hard for a character to truly piss me off though. But regardless, I feel like you're supposed to be annoyed with his character at times because what teenager isn't annoying? Away from people clowning him and saying that he was even more deadweight than Tech Jacket, I don't think people are complaining about him for any other reason. Eve, on the other hand, they did it. They did it, man. For a moment, I was like, they're not gonna do it. They gave Eve that depression weight. I don't know if it's just me, but kinda like Mark, I almost didn't notice it. I mean, they get busy in the sheets ASAP, so Mark definitely had to notice. But like a great partner, you play blind and hit them with a
all I noticed was how much I missed you.
Man, shut your bitch ass up.
Now that's a great partner, lying to maintain the sanity within a relationship. In all seriousness, I do hope that the show improves on Eve's character. I don't expect too much for the reason I'm about to get into, but since they've been together, Eve has been more of an extension of Mark than her own character. There's nothing wrong with Eve being a supportive partner to Mark to where she feels like his journal or a therapist, but she should be more than that. Then on the flip side, I know a lot of people want Eve to be a badass because on paper, she's supposed to be OP as fuck. But this is where I blame the writing for her character. I say this all the time, but you run the risk of writing yourself in a corner where you have to nerf your OP character for the sake of plot, or dumbing them down, or removing them from the conflict in the story so you can build believable tension. Comic book Eve definitely should have been handled differently, as she is my main criticism of Invincible. Even though what we do get from her I still like, but having Eve and holding her back is like having a prime LeBron James riding the end of the bench. It's ridiculous. Even though the show has done a better job at pacing, adding details, and having great character moments, the Eve problem is not something I see the show fixing. Which is fine, it doesn't break the story at all. It's just unfortunate that she's one of the few weaker areas within Invincible. Okay, with that out of the way, I gotta touch on my boy Cecil for a bit. I want to start off by saying that despite me looking at Cecil sideways every season, I do enjoy his character. Now, ass kissing out the way, he's a bit of a special case study for me, man. Mr. Do the wrong thing for the right reason, even if everyone hates me because nothing matters more than the safety of Earth. Wasn't really sounding like himself when he was face to face with Nolan in this season finale. And I can already hear some people saying that Cecil is nuanced and just because he puts the Earth first doesn't automatically mean that he can't still hate Nolan for what he did. And you know what, I hear all of that. I just still find it funny that the man who has no issue in turning super able threats of society into protectors of human life is fine having Earth's top 2 acid off planet in case of 37 other Viltrumites attacking Earth because he's still on that Nolan timing. Let's say Nolan didn't have to go back to see Oliver. Why wouldn't you want Nolan there opposed to 2 weeks deep in space? Make it make sense, Cecil. Or maybe I shouldn't expect too much from the man who kept Conquest alive and didn't implant that sound device in his head because he takes half measures regardless of plot convenience. I want the record to show that Cecil has placed his feelings of Nolan's actions above the safety of Earth. So if there's at any point within this story moving forward where he starts sighing or bitching to another character about saving the planet, I don't want to hear shit. Not from you. Yes, Nolan has done way more harm than anyone you've taken to rehabilitate, but when we're talking about Viltrumites, who else on Earth besides Mark is gonna go toe to toe with them? Get out of your damn feelings for the sake of Earth, Cecil. As for my guy Nolan, I enjoyed seeing him back at the site where he nearly killed Mark, and we get to hear back the dialogue of everything he was saying, trying to convince Mark with the contrast of his face. Ooh, it was mwah. Nolan has definitely been the best part of this season for me. His journey, his growth, how the show makes things more difficult for him to show just how difficult his path truly is. He's easily my favorite character in Invincible. I can't say enough about him. Although I already did a video sucking him off and then some. So I'm not about to get on my knees again for this video, but it was funny seeing Nolan's sad mustache puppy face. But behind those sad eyes, you know what that man is thinking. You know that man was happy as hell that Debbie decided to go along with him to see Oliver.
What about, Paul?
Not that it's any of your business, but we ended it months ago. He's a good man, and I care for him very much. But I'll ask you.
Listen here, man. A lot of people are gonna probably end up being mad at Debbie's decision if they do what I think they're gonna do, but this shit is realistic as hell. How many times have you had friends who went back to their ex? A lot of the times it didn't work out, and a small amount of times maybe it did. Love is truly an irrational thing. You can't be mad at someone's decision. I mean, you can, but just understand they aren't thinking clearly. Yes, you should still have self-respect for yourself, but it's real complicated, man. Unless you've been in a situation for yourself, you might not truly understand what I'm talking about. But Nolan killed so many people on Earth, how could she ever possibly do that? How could she ever get back with that man? You would be surprised at the amount of things people can overlook just for a loved one. For me, as long as Debbie realizes that Nolan has changed, I'm good. I don't need anything more than that. But if I do get more than that, so be it. But going back to Nolan being happy as hell, like, come on, man. When your ex that you still have feelings for gives you an opportunity like a road trip to make things right, you best believe you're taking it. Like, yeah, I killed a shit ton of people, but ain't no way you're staying mad at me this whole trip. You know, I think it's completely fair if you blow up someone's home that they get to squat at your place for the foreseeable future. It's only fair. It's really the least you can do right next to doing nothing. This man Thrag really allowed Mark and Nolan to live and said, alright, y'all just gotta let me and my fam crash on this planet for a bit until we're able to get back on our feet. I think that shit is completely fair. Hey man, shout out to Thrag for being a stand-up guy. He didn't kill Mark and Nolan, nor did he blow up Earth on some petty shit. He decided to make the best of a trash-ass situation. There's no way you guys can convince me that he's evil. Now, quick spoilers, because this is where I really knew that without a doubt that Thrag was an unwavering menace, so please skip ahead to this timestamp to avoid spoilers. When we see pretty much all of the Viltrumites on Earth enjoying life, getting some coochie and creating families just as Nolan did with Debbie, that man Thrag did not care to procreate with another human, despite wanting to rebuild the Viltrum Empire. It's not until his back's against the wall and he's forced to fuck some Thraxans where his ass goes crazy. And even then, that Thraxan coochie didn't calm him down one bit. Do you know how mad you have to be to impregnate all of these Thraxans and not be like, maybe this isn't what I truly want. Maybe I truly don't want war. Thrag is really not someone who lets shit slide. I want to say that some good old human sex would have changed Thrag's mind, but probably not. If some casual sex can't sway or calm you down, nothing will. Last but not least, I have to talk about Mark. This kid really can't catch a break. I'm used to seeing the same story with Spider-Man struggling, being broke, suffering in relationships and suffering loss, and still having to carry on. But my god, Mark got it rough, man. He got fisted, he got knocked out in space, nearly lost his eyes, passed out for 2 months followed by an additional 2 weeks. Hey man, on some real shit, Mark was barely awake for the Viltrumite War. He slept through most of that shit, man. But he goes through all of this and then comes back to Earth and immediately has to deal with real life problems. I want you to imagine feeling your guts being yanked out, being in a coma, then playing tag with the strongest Viltrumite ever, but when he catches you, he brings you to an inch of your life. And not to mention the feeling of dread of 2 weeks believing that Earth is doomed and not knowing how bad it truly is because you aren't there. Imagine all of that, and then coming home and Eve is like, I hate that I gained all of this weight. Life sucks. Hey yo, Grand Regent. Hey man, come over here and take me out of my misery because I am not doing this bullshit. Okay, I'm just joking here. Eve went through a lot more than gaining some weight, but I say all of that to say that the amount of shit that Mark has to deal with and still want to have a life outside of all the wild shit that's going on around him is really rough. It really is. Coming back home from war and hearing that the woman you love had an abortion is some heavy ass shit to deal with. But worse than that, he also now has to put up with the idea of Viltrumites living amongst him on Earth. I'll tell you one thing, the amount of stress and paranoia that Mark was going through with his mini episodes would have been nothing compared to what I would have been going through. For Thrag to announce to Mark that, yo, me and the fam gonna be kicking it at your spot for some time. That's akin to me seeing a big ass Goliath bird eater in the corner of my bedroom and throwing a shoe at it, then looking for the body but never being able to find it. I will never be able to sleep at peace. I will be in paranoia for the rest of my life. 200 years, 500, 1,000, it doesn't matter. Any amount of time can pass and I would still be living in fear knowing that at any point they can blow everything up. Those flashes of Mark seeing carnage and destruction and Thrag killing those close to him was real as hell. He'd have been insane not to be losing his shit. I know I keep saying this, but the show does a good job in making little changes for the better. For Mark to be alone confronting Thrag in the show opposed to him having his father by his side just hits harder for me. In the comics, Mark is the one to agree to Thrag's terms, but to be all alone in the show gives his answer more weight to me. But hey, I can be completely alone right here. Anyway, what a way to cap off season 4. And as dope as this season was, I'm already looking forward to season 5 and onward. I'm not gonna give any deep spoilers, although I'm kinda gonna allude to it, so yeah, fuck it, spoilers ahead. If you're a show only person, this is the point of the video to click off. I can't wait for dinosaurs and robot shit to finally get started, man. I'm probably in the minority here, but up until this point in the story, the Viltrumite stuff has been the most entertaining shit. Don't get me wrong. Even after this point in the story, it's still entertaining, as it remains the focal point in this story. But I end up finding the dinosaur stuff incredible because of what it does for Mark's character. For me, it's not until Dinosaurus is in the mix where he and Mark's dynamic develops to where Mark truly changes as a character. And as for the robot stuff, god man, I am ready. I'm ready for him to come back and turn shit up. Like, yeah, Thrag is here, but Robot is on the way! I imagine a lot of people who read the comics absolutely hate Robot's guts, kinda like how they'll grow to hate Oliver and Alan, but Robot is like if Cecil truly locked in and had all of that power gone to his head. Y'all can hate him, but I got him as the best Invincible antagonist, even above Thrag.